there's a special project that we started at Africa as a Country with you and a bunch of other comrades in Nairobi. And I wanted you to talk about that project. It's called Capitalism in My City. And specifically, so just to lead in, I know you earlier, you sort of just gave you sort of, I would say like you gave a drive-by when you said something about Kenyan capitalism. Can you just set the scene about capitalism in Kenya, capitalism in Nairobi, the project that we're trying to do together, and some of the outcomes that we're trying to get out of it? And in the way, I think you sort of, again, also said a little bit about Matare, this Matare Social Justice Center, which is where this work is going to come out from. So can you just tell us a little bit about that? Because I think our listeners and viewers would like to know about that project. Yeah.
Thanks, John. I think maybe I need to say thank you also to Africa as a Country and also Shuttleworth Foundation for making this possible, and also the young activists who are taking the time to write about their experiences of everyday capitalism in their lives. So this project came about from conversations and collaborations. Its direct history is a forum co-hosted by Africa as a Country, Rope Journal, and Madare Social Justice Center in Madare, a forum in 2019 called Why Don't Kenyans Talk About Capitalism? This was important for a number of reasons. I mean, we're always talking about corruption, we're always talking about poverty, but we fail to follow the DNA and see the genealogy. And so we didn't want to, as a community organization, but as academics and allies, we wanted to interrogate why is this silence around capitalism? And that led to the development of a project composed of 8 articles and 4 videos. Currently, there's only 1 launch so far that talk about everyday capitalism in Kenya, and that these are produced and written by young activists who live in poor urban spaces in Nairobi. And the first article talked about really the labor crisis and the unemployment that young people are facing and the barriers to work and to livelihood that they're facing. And this is important. And future articles, there's one on the criminalization of youth that talks about police brutality and exploitation of young people, and that's the next article. But there'll also be reflection on healthcare, because there's really despite this being guaranteed in our constitution, there's no access to good quality healthcare for poor people, and so they pay all of these taxes because we now have this ridiculous tax burden because of all the debt our country has, but they have no access to clean water. Water is privatized, healthcare is privatized. So these are all the issues that will be written about, but through the experiences, through people's experiences with them, like real visceral experiences with all of these articulations of capitalism in Kenya that unfortunately are not written about in the newspapers or by academics, because it's a very ahistorical analysis of our country's condition. And so we want young people to make these, and they're doing it themselves, making these connections and showing the violences of like how they experience the articulations of capitalism in their life.